Big news, everyone. Jeff Kaplan denounces hero bans as a thing, but then kind of says well, okay, but anyway. So here's the forum post. I'm going to read it to you. That's what's up in today in Overwatch. I've seen a lot of discussion about hero bans the past few days, and I just wanted to offer some perspective on the topic. As always, the Overwatch has been a wide variety of opinion about the concept. Interestingly, we don't have many people on the team vehemently arguing for the feature of hero bans, is what he's talking about. More of us, including myself, are reluctant to add hero bans to Overwatch. As I've said before, we are not in the mindset that we're opposed to the idea entirely, and will never add them. But overall, there are a number of issues that make us want to proceed carefully. Coming from a game design focus, the number one thing we ask is, what is the problem we are trying to solve? We're not fans of just adding ideas that are in other games, just because. We call this a bottom-up design. Sometimes the right design decision for one game is a terrible decision for another game, even if the two games are very similar. For example, with the World of Warcraft, we did not impose forced grouping, a slow leveling curve, and a punishing death penalty with loss just because the other successful MMOs had those features at the time. And as a player of those MMOs, I thought they were the correct decisions for those games, but not for WoW. When I hear people want hero bans, the conversation usually revolves around a few reasons. I'm sure there are more. People do not like the meta signets. They believe that the hero bans they will be able to ban out the meta heroes, thus moving the meta. In general, the meta not moving is perceived by the player base as bad. People are frustrated with the balance of certain heroes with hero bans. They feel they can ban out heroes they are frustrated with. People do not like playing against certain heroes. With hero bans, they feel like they can ban out a hero they don't want to play against. As a team, we agree and understand that the players want the meta to be more fluid and move more frequently, even though the vast majority of players only experience this meta through Overwatch League. Feedback from grandmasters, streamers, and YouTubers, we get the perception of a stale meta is not good for the game. We absolutely have plans to move the meta more, and we'll be talking about these in upcoming developer updates. We get it. We agree. Make the meta move faster. Okay. But just implementing hero bans does not mean the meta will move. Studying other games, the end result is usually a ban meta. The downside of a ban meta is that players are often at odds with each other when someone on their team bans an off-meta hero. The same frustration that players experience with the meta exists in a ban meta. Hero bans are not a silver bullet solution to making the meta move. If the problem we are trying to solve is that the meta needs to change more, hero bans might actually make the problem worse, not better. We do have a solution in mind, an actual system. We'll talk about that in next week's developer update. But it's not hero bans. In regards to playing wanting to ban for balance reasons, the way we plan to address this is with more frequent balance updates. The upcoming developer update will go into depth into the plan and shed light on how we are going to accomplish this. So we agree that there are balance issues. We agree balancing needs to happen more frequently. We disagree that hero bans are a good solution to balance problems. To us, removing a hero from play because of balance reasons feels like a sledgehammer. The other reason I listed was that people do not like playing against certain heroes. To this, I am going to give an answer that is not going to be very popular. Basically, it's a PvP game. You don't get to pick what the enemy team does. The challenge is overcoming the enemy team with teamwork, ingenuity, and skill. It feels really off to me that the other team dictates how or what I play. So if your reason is, that you want to play against certain heroes, I think we disagree on this point. We've changed our minds in the past, but that's where we're at for now. I hear a lot of people attack hero bans because they only want to play one hero or one trick. To this, I think our stance is pretty clear. Overwatch is a game about mastering many heroes. We don't expect you to master them all, but you should play a few characters. Now, we don't explicitly prevent you from playing one hero, but we also don't encourage it. We think the game is more fun for everyone involved if you play at least a handful of heroes. That's how the game is designed. So defending one-tricking does not factor in for us when it comes to our opinion for hero bans. We want the meta to move more, and one-tricking contributes to meta issues. Again, we are not against one-tricking, but we're not going to overly enable or encourage it. That's our stance. There are a few other reasons we are reluctant to pursue hero bans at this time as well. We've been really pushing for faster match times. There's a lot going on under the hood in this one. Our philosophy is the game is better if you have quicker matches. The sting of defeat is much less if the match took much time. We're constantly talking about ways to speed up rounds of Overwatch to allow you to play more. Introducing a ban phase to the start of every Overwatch round would add significant time. Your overall time spent on average night of Overwatch actually shooting stuff would be less. This concerns us a lot. There's also a huge development cost to adding features as well. The time commitment would be significant. The last reason is that not the one that's driving our decision making. If we thought it was right for the game, like with Roll-Cool, we would absolutely make the investment. I'm looking forward to sharing next week's development update with you all. I think it will clarify things quite a bit. But in the meantime, I wanted to tell you where we're at with hero bans, specifically since so much misinformation is being spread right now. I hope those of you in favor of the system don't go doomsday over this news without having the full picture. Information will be available next week on the plan to balance faster, keep the meta moving, and we agree on the problems. That's the important thing. Signed,